film rewinder rather, or transferred to take up spool. The next is shutter speed. When it says shutter speed, it will control the duration between the opening and closing of the shutter. From the word shutter speed, mo ni mag-control, no? Mo ni say mag-control sa shutter in opening and closing. Naputay gitawag nga lens aperture. No, lens aperture. When you say lens aperture, it is the light gathering power of the lens. Mo ni say mo gather sa light. Kung wala ning lens aperture, you cannot gather, the lens has no power to gather the light, to exclude unwanted lights. No, and it is also defined as the ratio between the diameter of the focal length and the lens. Then we have also focusing mechanism. Mo ni say mo estimate sa object distance of the camera. Not like now in digital, in traditional, you have no actually the focusing mechanism dili na ma-adjust. It is fixed in traditional. However, now in digital, pwede nimo i-zoom. Natay mo nang natay gitawag nga zoom lens na ginagamit sa digital. Next is camera accessories. Kaning tripod, perminti gid mi gawas. Gipangutanan ni sayon ra kay ba? Pila ka buktiil sa tripod? Tulo gina siya. Kay kaning gitawag nato og gigamit nato pang selfie. Kanang pang selfie nato, unsay tawag na guys? Gitawag nato og monopod. Di ba? Monopod na siya. Pag duha, bipod. Tapos tripod, tulo. Quadrupod. In photography, ang quadrupod is 4. But for photography, we have that tripod is the most common. Tripolig device. Next is cable release. This is attached to the shutter release of the camera and used in releasing the shutter. Muna siya mo release sa shutter. Mo release sa shutter para dili sa maglihok ang camera. Then, type flash units to augment the adverse lighting condition in traditional photography. Muna siya mo gitawag na to nga para mo puno sa light. Kay kung dim kayong light, iyahang punan ng light para ma-enough siya nga makakuha sa photograph. Pero naputay light meter nga gitawag. This light meter is to determine the intensity of light that strike the subjects with the use of light meter. Types of light meter, natay gitawag nga extinction meter. That this extinction meter reflected from the shadow seen as by the naked eye. Ano observation na nato ba? Muna extinction meter. Pag photoelectric meter, the most dependable device that will measure the brightness of the light. No, it is pointed toward the subject. Mo point ni sa subject. Then mo the most dependable sa kay mo adjust ra po din sa mo puno siya sa light. Next is extension tube. Extension tube. This is very useful in micro photography and macro photography, especially in forensic ballistics or in different objects, no? In photography nga gagmay kay nga object nga imong padakon. Magagmay nga object imong padakon mo na photo micro. Photo micro, no? Then this is attached to the lens board of the camera and the lens is attached when it close up photographing is necessary. No? So with the use of extension tube. Okay, with the use of microscope attached to the camera. Next is filter. A transparent medium which transmit and absorbs different wavelength of lights. Muna say salaan ba? Musala sa picture nga waon, the photograph, no? Next is camera grip. A device used to hold firmly the camera para nga dili siya mag-uyog, so that movement of the camera during exposure period can be avoided. Next is lens hood. Now this lens hood, it is a device to eliminate some reflection para mawala ang reflection which might destroy the image cast by the objects, especially when the light is coming from the top or side portion of the camera with the use of lens hood. Now, so we have your camera classification in general. So natin gitawag nga the size of the film, the use or format, large format cameras, that have Velos use. Next, we have 4x5, 5x7, and 8x10. Then medium format cameras. The DLR falls in this category. Then we have in the focusing and the viewing system. So we have here those with optical viewfinder and natay gitawag nga system camera wherein it accept a wide variety of lenses. Magpailis niya lenses, viewers, film box, and accessories that can be attached or integrated. And the most commonly type here is SLR, under system cameras. Next is digital camera, a type of camera that digitalize the image which can then be put in the computer. The most commonly type of camera today, we are using digital cameras wherein the camera, the photograph can be edited or can be viewed with the use of computer or laptop and ma-edit po. There are two types of digital camera. Those with fixed memory, ibig sabihin po, walay memory card. Fixed lang. But we have those with memory card or removable memory. Pag mapuno na siya, mag-erase lang ka, ang tangon nimo ang memory card, so natay camera nga walay memory card, fixed lang, but na naka built-in, naputay with removable memory. What are the other features of digital camera? First one is images produced or taken by digital camera can be viewed in computer monitor or TV set. A liquid crystal device monitor. It has the LCD. Ang traditional, wala man. It has a flash unit. And it has a zoom lens. It can be record sounds also. No, even in regards to zoom lens, you can focus the object to be photographed, di ba? Layo kayo imong ipaduol mo nang gamit ang zoom. And removable lens that can see around corners. Then we have here the methods of image formation in photography. So dali ra kay ni bantan kaning pinhole guys, sige ni sa gawas pod sa board exam. No? So actually we have the tiny hole. Tawag na to og small or tiny hole which produces an image. So gitawag na to pinhole, gamay og bangag, gamay og buho. Mo nang gitawag na to tiny hole. Second is shadow method in X-ray photography. In X-ray photography, we have the shadow method. But the best method in photography, we are using now the lens method. The one we are using today, even in digital photography, we are using the lens method. Actually, this is what we call the best method of image formation because of its capable of producing sharp image. Basta ang keyword diri bantay nato sa pinhole guys, small or tiny hole. No, mo nang gitawag nato pinhole. Gamay siya buho. Ang lens method sakto-sakto ginisag buho. No? Because of capable of producing sharp image. Now, so let's move now to lens. What is lens? The term lens refers to the transparent medium, either converges or diverges. Light rays passing through it to form an image. Duha ni sa natay duha ka klase. Natay gitawag na to convex lens. The other term is convergent of positive or convex. Ang convex is baga sa tunga nipis sa kilid. Baga sa tunga nipis sa kilid, no? Always thicker at the center and thinner at the sides. Then naputay gitawag nga divergent of negative or concave lens. May opposite ni siya sa convergent of positive. Thinner at the center and thicker at the side. So mo ni sa ano ang convex lens. Then we have also the concave. This is opposite. So ako lang ipakita ni sa inyo just to let you see this inherent lens defects. What is the other term? Natay mga defects but this is under in traditional photography. Lens defects or aberration. The other term of aberration is lens defects. The other term of lens defects, gitawag nato ni siya aberration. Now, first we have the spherical aberration. So, muna itsura sa spherical aberration. It is usually found in all lenses. The failure of the lens to bring all rays of light to in focus at the same time. Mawala ang focus sa subject, sa object to be photographed because of spherical aberration. Next is, the marginal portion of the lens will bring rays of light to shorter focus than the central region. So, but pasabot, dito sa nag-focus noon sa, na imong gi-focus, imbis nga katunga object, dili dito mo focus, dito noon sa central region of the subject. Next is coma. Dili ni sa comatose guys ha, coma ra gini sa. Coma, nagtakilid ang subject. Imbis nga i-photograph straight, mutakilid siya, mutakilid siya. No, the image result. Because of unequal magnifying of the different concentric zones of the lens causes this lens defects. No? So ang resulta, imbis nga i-focus, dito sa sapikas mo takilid. That is coma. Next is curvature of field. There is a curve. No? Take a look with the focus. No? Imbis sa center ang iyang kuan, dito na sa left side or the right side. It can be vertical or horizontal. No? Curvature of field. No? The image of a flat subject does not appear flat because of the sharpness of the center and the edge is out of focus. Ibig sabihin po, out of focus ang camera, ang lens niya. Next is distortion. From the word distort. No? Na-distort, na inat ba imong naong nga, imbis nga nindot kag naong, na inat na nimong naong, nabati imong naong, napiki imong naong. Opposite siya, no? The lens defects exist when there are different magnification of rays for light at different angles. So, muna siya ang resulta of this distortion, no? A straight line extending across the lens is curved. The curvature may be toward or outward depending it's either to the left or right. Katong gisulti na to while ago na ang iyang pagkainat, it's either upward or outward or toward the subject. Next is chromatic aberration. This chromatic aberration, the color is different. For example, imbis nga red ang image, mahimo na siyang blue. No? Nausab ang color sa actual sa object. Imbis nga itumon ka, maputi na nung ka. In black and white photography, in traditional, especially in black and white, wala gid ta, we cannot question. Kung bati gid ang imong naong dito, apiki gyud kag naong. Musulti gyud tinud ang black and white. Kay dili man sa ma-edit. In digital, pwede ma-edit man gud siya. No? So it is the failure of the lens to focus all the visible rays. The lens refracts rays of short wavelength more strongly than those longer wavelength and therefore brings blue rays to a shorter focus than red. Muna siya, resulta siya na usab ang color. Then astigmatism. This astigmatism nag-blurred. No, nag-blurred. Dili na kay klaro. That is astigmatism. The failure of the lens to focus a point of image of an object point. So that is the problem. That is the problem. Okay? Next is chromatic aberration. The chromatic difference of magnification. For example, imbis nga taas kay kang tao, gipikuan kag picture, ikuan kag photograph, mahimo nung kang unano. Ang unano mo taas. So that is the problem in lens defect under chromatic difference of magnification. No? Now, so we have here so these are the 7 types of lens defects or aberration. Remember, this is in the perspective of black and white or the traditional photography. Okay? So, kani sa lens defects, sa chromatic aberration, in terms to size ni, in terms to height, kung unano, modako, kung niwang ka diri, kung niwang ka, motambok, so opposite siya, opposite ni siya. Next is types of lenses according to degree of correction. This lens aberration. These lens defects that I've mentioned can be corrected. No? Can be repaired. Can be removed by means of replacing the lens. This is still in traditional photography. Sige, gawas po sa board exam. Dali ra kay bantayan, tudluan ta mo kung saan ang technique na di mo kalimot. Ani? Achromatic lens. Asa gamiton? Chromatic aberration. From the word, na ikapareha sa iyang ngalan. Just remove chromatic. Basta na chromatic, achromatic na sa gigamit. Achromatic aberration. Corrected for chromatic aberration. Next is rapid rectilinear lens, corrected for distortion. Now, for distortion is rapid rectilinear lens. Next is anastigmat lens, corrected for astigmatism. Naimat, basta naimat diya sa tumoy, no? Basta na word nga similarity, anastigmat as for astigmatism. Remember that, for astigmatism, anastigmat. Nai similarity siya, guys. So they are using, this one is no bar anastigmat, no? Anastigmat for astigmatism. This is in traditional, ha? Next is apochromat lens. Apochromat. Asa gigamit? Astigmatism but with higher degree correction to color. But for color. Gigamit ka po sa astigmatism pero with higher degree correction to color. Apochromat lens. So these are the types of lenses according to be corrected to remove the lens defect or aberration. So let's proceed now with the focal length. So unsa ning gitawag nato nga focal length nga gitawag nato? The distance measured from the optical center of the lens to the film plane when the lens is set or focused at infinity position or far distance. Kung layo ba? Mo na yung gitawag nato focal length, ang distansya gikan sa lente padulong sa gibutangan sa film plane. Kung ang lente giset sa layo nga distansya. Mo nang mogamit tag mga lenses according to the distance nga iyang makuha, nga iyang makover, nga iyang ma-focus ang object nga to be photographed. Like for example, when you are in makita man ginat for example, the most mga falls there, mga Maria Cristina Falls. Layo ra kay ng Maria Cristina Falls. But with the use of the lens, imong ilisan siya in digital photography, ilisan digital camera, ilisan niyo sa lente, mogamit kag zoom lens, sa layo ra naka sa sentro sa iligan or naka sa distansya, you can take photograph with the use of zoom lens. Because you are going to replace with the lens using the focal length, the distance kung unsa kalayo makuha kag photograph depende, no? Unang mogamit ta og gitawag na to og lens according to focal length. Natay gitawag nga focal distance. Ang distansya gikan sa optical center of the lens to the film plane. Sa film og sa lens. Now, so we have types of lenses according to focal length. Nagitawag na to. No, natay types of lenses according to focal length. So natay gitawag diri nga wide angle. A wide angle lens. A lens with a focal length, remember the keyword is less than the diagonal of its negative material. No, less than diagonal. Ang gamiton, what is the keyword? Less than the diagonal of its negative material. Or, asa gigamit? Indoor or inside a small room. Mo nang gugamit tag wide angle kay dili niya makuha tanan kay gamay kaayo ang kanang makuha kag photograph sa gamay nga room. Mogamit kag wide angle, lapad, wide angle lens. Another description is less than the diagonal of its negative material. Second is normal lens. Normal lens with, what is the keyword is? Equal. Approximately equal. No, the lens with approximately equal but not more than twice diagonal of its negative material. Normal lens, yeah. Telephoto, from the word tele, for long distance. The one being used in telescope. No? The one being used with a focal length of more than twice the diagonal of its negative material. So that is telephoto. Keyword, more than twice. Used in long distance photography. No, kanang mo na mogamit tag tele. Tele is long distance. We have the telescope. Then we have also zoom lens. zoom lens. No, zoom lens is lens for variable focal length. Meaning, you can focus even far objects can be seen also with the use of zoom lens. If you want to focus, it is being used in close up, an extreme close up view of the crime scene. Close up, an extreme close up. Okay, so next is focusing. In focusing mechanism, this is defined as the setting. This is defined as the setting of the proper distance in order to form a sharp image. Now, in methods, there are methods of focusing. Natay gitawag nga scale bead or focusing scale. The amount of the camera are, there are two sets, the preset distance expressed in feet and in meters. These distances corresponds with the distance of the camera lens to the object. So muna say distansya. Muna itong natog scale bead or focusing scale. Sukdanan sa unsa kalayo ang distansya sa object being photographed. Next is with the use of rangefinder to measure the angle of the convergence of the light as seen from two or more apertures but viewed at the same time. Munang natay gitawag nga split image. When one looks through the viewfinder of the camera and there is a circle or central part of the line running across the circle. Munang gitawag natong split image. Naputay coincident image. Usually used to compact cameras with a fixed lens. Dito nagigamit. Then another one is ground glass. Focusing is accomplished by direct observation of the image. Direct, no? With a glass. No, gitawag na to ground glass. Okay, so next is shutters. Now, what is shutters? What do you mean by shutter? A device that opens or cover the film to make an exposure at accurately timed intervals. It is used as a barrier. No? Muning gitawag na tog shutter. Types of shutters, natay duha ka klase. Central shutter or between the lens. This shutter is located in the between the lens component. It is made of metal blades. Ang keyword pagidani is the action starts at the center toward the side, then closes back towards the center. Kung isang gitawag na to an example, no? Diri sa tunga, moabli, mobulag siya, then mo abli sa, mo close sa tunga. Next is focal plane shutter. Is located in front of the film plane on the focal plane, made of cloth or metal curtain. Asa magsugod yan start? From one side and closes on the opposite side. Usually for DLR, double lens reflex camera. Okay, then there are also types of flash unit. Natay gitawag nga on-camera flash. When say on-camera flash, the flash of the camera held close to the camera with a bracket provides direct hard light. No? So, like this one, this is what we call on-camera flash. Directly, the flash unit is directly located with the camera. Napotay gitawag nga off-camera flash. Now, this unit, the flash, can be moved away from the camera with arm's length or more. For example, natay gitawag ng multiple flash, more than one flash is being used. Naputay gitawag ng fill-in flash to eliminate or add illumination to shadow areas or objects so detailed than otherwise will not appear clearly in the final picture. Naputay gitawag nga open flash. No, the shutter speed is set at B and once the shutter is open. No, gitawag nato siya diha, no? The flash is activated on fired release manually. Next is bounce flash. Instead of the light going directly to the subject, it is bounced by on light colored ceilings and walls of the objects. So kani sa bounce flash, instead nga nakapokus siya sa guitar, dito siya nakapokus sa kilid or the ceilings. Like this one, no? Sa ceiling siya nakapokus. Dili lang sa object, no? Makikita na itong bounce flash. Naputay ring flash. This is a round circular flash unit usually placed around the outer end of the camera lens. Like this one, no? Then, umbrella flash. The most commonly used in studio photography. Payong, ang umbrella, dili na sa ulan. No, upon it will focus also, ano gitawag na to umbrella flash. The use of umbrella. Now, in filters, actually, natay gitawag nga two types used in photography. Natay optical filters or salaan. It is made of glass or acetate. That is optical filters. Tapos tayo particle or solution filter used for special photographic procedure like an infrared luminescence. This is an optical filters and solution filters. Now, types of color, that is in black and white. We have also here types of colored filters. Natay gitawag nga light balancing filter. Dali ra ni bantayan to balance the light or change the color quality of exposing light in order to produce to secure proper color balance. Next is color compensating filter. This is used to change the overall color balance of photographic result obtained with color films. Next is neutral density filter to neutralize. Now, when the light is too bright, to allow the use of desired F number of shutter speed with a particular film. No? So that is neutralized. When the light is too bright, the function of this neutral density filter is to neutralize when the light is too bright. Next is polarizing filter. So this polarizing filter used to reduce or minimize reflection, no? Like in water, glass, or highly polished surface, from the word polarizing. Okay, then we have here camera care. It is the most basic, no? The camera care. Most modern camera are designed to give long-term service depending on its use. Mura po sa inyong cellphone ba? Depende sa paggamit. So, limpyuhan na nimo. Then, nakay cleaning kit, nakay bristle brush, nasa Hisop Camel's hairbrush for cleaning the lens. No, in digital camera. So, dili po ni sudlay man no? This one, no? The one being used in cleaning your camera. No, this is we'll proceed now with our chemical processing. This is more in laboratory. This is the last topic. And after this, we'll have our post-test. Now, in chemical processing, after the exposure of the film to light in the picture taking of the photographic paper during printing, the next step would be chemical processing. In black and white processing, tulo ra gina siya, guys. DSF ra siya, ha? Development, stop bath, fixation. Development, stop bath, fixation. In color, development, stop fix, and stabilizer. Now, so in development, so what is development? Nagitawag na to. The process by which an invisible latent image in an emulsion is made visible through development. What specific chemicals you are going to use? Gagamit tayo ng acid developer. No, acid developer. It is a chemical being used na inahalo siya sa tubig. Then that was followed by stop bath. After development, susunod po ang stop bath. Ano pa ibig sabihin ng stop bath? It halts the developer action in appropriate moment. The main reason is to prevent the contamination of the acid developer and the fixer from each other. Ang stop bath can be made with the plain water, tubig ra ni siya. Then, fixation. A fixer makes developed image permanent. Then followed by washing, that is the fourth. Then drying. Washing and drying. The third one is washing, hugasan nimo. Then the fourth is drying. Now, what are the equipment? Mo ning ginagamit na gigamit? Tank or tray, mga gamit sa photography sa laboratory. Opener for cartridge pliers, scissors, thermometer, timer, funnel, photographic fans, film clips for drying for film. No? So like this one, no? This is what we call developing reels. Diha ituyok ang film kung sa film ta atong i-process. This one is developing tank. Daylight developing tank. Diha isulod ang film. Iuyog-uyog siya. Butangan siya og developer or fixer. This is the tray method, the tray development, no, in darkroom. So kaning tray, to look at tray ni siya na for stop bath, for developer, for stop bath, and for fixer. Okay, so what are the developer formulation? No? The assay developer. A typical development of black and white developer are solvent, developing agent, preservative, accelerator, activator, and restrainer. Actually, these are the composition of the assay developer. The function of the developer is to develop the image. No? Next is these are the specifications of the film developer formula. So natay water, then we have elon, hydroquinone. Na mga grams diri sa kilid. Ang elon is 2 grams, hydroquinone is 5 grams, sodium sulfite is 100 grams, borax is 2 grams, and water is 1 liter. Ang paper developer, guys, gitawag na sa dictol. Ningawan siya sa board exam, ha? The paper developer is called dictol. Now, these are the formulation. So we have 1 liter nga tubig, potassium bromide 1 gram, sodium carbonate 67.5 grams, sodium sulfide is 4 grams, hydroquinone is 12 grams, elon is 311 grams, and water is dapat makaabot siya og we have the 5 ml wherein iabot siya 52 degrees Celsius ang iyang munang it is conducted ang iyang kainiton didto sa darkroom. Muna mo gamit tag thermometer to measure the Fahrenheit or the degree Celsius. Ang stop bath, guys, can be made of plain water gikan sa gripo. Mura na gigamit nato, no? With 28% glycerol acetic acid or bisag wala na siya, okay na siya, no? So this is in traditional. Fixing bath formula kinahanglan sa water, dissolving agent, preservative, neutralizers, hardener. Para dili siya mag-mix. Dili niya mag-mix ang acid fixer o acid developer. So gikan ka dito sa acid developer, ang photographic paper imong ihalo, imong uyog dito for depende sa strong manggod sa acid developer. Kang usually 10 seconds lang siya pag abot sa stop bath, di pud pwede nga masobrahan, then going to the fixer, then washing na dayon. Then drying. No, so we have the fixer. So mo ni siyang equipment. So natin 1 liter nga tubig, boric acid, potassium alum, acetic acid. These are the specific ingredients. Now in photographic printing, natay gitawag, guys, nga duha ka klase, no, nga printing. Nga pamaagi, contact printing, the procedure of exposing the photographic print materials directly mura sa photocopier ba, photocopier. Ang negative idiretso na nimo sa iyahang idiretso na sa printer. Munang photograph gitawag nato contact printing, in contact with the negative and photographic paper. Okay, it is made of glass and pad and pressure printing frame and contact printer. Mo ni ang contact printer, ibutang lang nimo ang film o photographic paper diha, ma-print na dayon siya, mura sa gi-photocopy ang resulta. Mo nang gitawag natong contact printer. Then projection printing or enlarging. This projection printing or enlarging, this is a type of printing. The other term of projection printing is enlarging. Unsa gamito nato? The most commonly used in our darkroom with the use of enlarger, not a colored or black and white. A type of printing with the image as negative is optically projected. I-project nimo depende sa size. Now, what are the elements? What are the basic or parts of enlarger? Baseboard and its vertical column, lamp house, condenser or diffuser. Okay, so we have also here bellows, lens, focusing knob, elevating knob, red filter, electrical cord, and switch. And so natay mga essential accessory of the enlarger, negative carrier, tigdala ni sa negative, no? Tigdala sa negative. Then easel or paper holder. By the way guys, kaning ang film nga gitawag wala pa nagamit ha. Pag yung kag black and white film sa traditional or colored film, wala pa na siya nagamit. Pag once ka nagamit na siya, nakakuha na kag photograph, gitawag na siya negative. Ha? Negative. Pag negative gani nga term, negative film, nana siya ay sulod na photograph. This one, no, an example of kaning easel sa ubos mo ni gitawag natog paper holder. Paper holder ni sa easel, no? So na diri ang negative carrier, lamp house, lens. So you would focus depending on the size. May ka wallet size. Natay 4R, 5R, 8R. Mo ni mga sizes guys nga pwede nimo i-adjust, no? In black and white or colored enlarger. But today we are not using it anymore in the mga studio. So this is colored enlarger. Okay. So types of enlarger, two types is diffusion, katag. Katag nga klase. Then we have also condenser. The most commonly used in schools, we are using condenser type. Okay, so we go directly with the uses of photography in police work. No, the application of photography in police work. First, it is used for identification purposes, specifically the prisoners. Once you once you're arrested for under investigation, once you're arrested, you'll be under mugshot. No, you'll be taking a photograph by the law enforcement officer arrested you. So with the use of kanang gitawag na tog mugshot photography. The side view, the front view with your name. That is for identification purposes. Even when you enter the prison or jail, you'll be subjected for photograph. Then second, for identification of unidentified cadavers, like the traffic accident, victims of crimes, mga traffic accidents, airline crash, collapse of big buildings, mga shipwreck, mga stampede, explosion, mga natural calamities. And it also being used for identification of missing persons. As well as it is used in photographing identification of lost and stolen properties. Unsa bay nakawat mo nang naa kay photograph. Civilian and police clearances for employment mo nang gigamit na to, mukuha kag police clearance karon naay photograph nga gi-appeal. Even with the NBI, aside from the fingerprint. No, so there is a photograph for identification purposes. Okay, then it is recording and preserving of evidences. No, through photography can identify if the crime scene is homicide or murder, theft or robbery, or whatever the crimes that is mentioned in under the revised penal code. Then we have also traffic accidents, objects of evidences, evidential traces in the crime scene, no? Kung unsa nga krimen. In traffic accidents, kinsa bay liable, in arson cases, okay, in homicide cases, no, with the use of firearm, and discovery and probing of evidences not readily seen by the naked eye, with the use of contrast control by lighting, no, with the use of magnification of enlargement of tiny objects, with the use of photo micro and photo macro. In kag photo micro, ang gagmay padakon. Ang gagmay nga objects, ang dagko nga objects pagamyon, that is photomacro. Photomicrography is the taking of photograph with the use of microscope, wherein the camera is attached to the subject. Then we have photomacro or macro photography, taking of photograph with short focus lens. Naputay gitawag nga micro photography, taking of photograph of an object is very reduced size or tiny images of the large object. That is micro photography. With the use of X-rays, like this one, no? In ballistics, what kind of ammunition is this, guys? This is 9mm, invented by George Loger, the inventor of 9mm parabellum cartridge. Then recording action of offenders by means of surveillance, by means of entrapment, by means of extrajudicial confession, and reenactment of the crime. Now it is being used in surveillance and for court exhibits as individual photographs, slide projectors, comparison charts, motion pictures being presented as evidence during trial. And it is being used also for crime prevention purposes, lectures on traffic education, modus operandi, and other purposes of crime prevention, and public information programs for press releases. Photograph is being used. And for police training. No? Prepared training films or video presentation for of personnel indoctrination, police tactics, investigative techniques, traffic control, civil disturbances. That could be used in police training, not only photographs but as well as video recordings, the systematic procedures. Now, in crime scene photography, guys, there are 4 major photographic views of the crime scene. So first we have here the long range or general view. Long range or general view of the crime scene. The immediate view, for example, if it happens in St. Peter College, the overview of the St. Peter College, di ba? Muna gitawag na to sa gawas, general view. Then, for medium range or medium view, going to the specific room, kung asa nitabo ang krimen. Close up, going to the victim. And going to the affected area is extreme close up. Wala tayo Colgate, guys, ha? Only close up and extreme close up. Okay, so that ends our presentation this morning. So question, guys? Do you have any questions?
Sir?
Questions? Do you have any questions before we proceed with our post-test?
Sir?
No? Yes?
Pwede po bang mahingi yung nyo, slide?
Pwede natin maipadala sa namoy group chat po, no?
Sige,
Or,
ako na lang kuha, sir, then ako na lang magpasa sa mga classmates.
pwede po na to i-forward sa imo, ha? No, okay, pwede na to ma-forward, no? Then
Sige po, sir. Thank you.
So if you have any questions, wala na. Then we'll proceed now with our post-test.